Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to IT Skills. My name is Aiden. In today's video, we're going to take a look at how to make IT administration easier. So we have a bunch of server we're going to be deploying throughout our project. And in order to deploy these servers, we need a tool to connect to a bunch of servers easily and seamlessly. That is where you can have remote desktop. The remote desktop connection comes in handy. Connection Manager. So this tool is free, available. You can download it from Microsoft directly from, it's part of the Assisted Turtle Tools. It's pretty sweet. So we're gonna go ahead, but just if you want to read more about it, it's below. Ultimately, it makes life easier. So let's download this tool and we're gonna set it up. All right, it's downloaded. Now we're gonna go ahead and set it up, and we're gonna go ahead extract the file, the same location. And now we're gonna basically double click to begin the tool. The tool doesn't install or anything. You just double click and that's it. It opens this console menu. From this point on, is we're ready. We're gonna configure a couple settings to make this tool good. So we're gonna hit create a new. We're gonna create a new folder where the tool's gonna have all the files, the RDP file, if you will, DG file. So in this case, let's put it under documents, call it 2025 RDMC, remote desktop connection, RDCM actually, connection manager, boom. And then we're gonna call it servers. The reason we're doing this is because, so a little bit more context of this, we actually have a Nutanix here. We have Nutanix environment. We have over 30 servers deployed right now. To manage all these 30 servers, that means I have to right click, connect to console for each server, and then I also don't have a copy and paste enabled with the Nutanix, doesn't work. So that's why we need this tool. So let's come over here. We have the servers. We're gonna add a file. We're gonna hit file. Actually, on the file, we already created a file already. So we're gonna hit add a server. But before server, we can say group. We can say I teach KY. It's one group, servers. That's the first group, and the second group is gonna be TK servers. So I have two domain server controllers, and this is actually let me remove this one because it's actually a subgroup. We don't need a subgroup. We need its own group. So let's add a group. ITKY servers. Boom. It is set up. Now on the ITKY, we're gonna add a server, or we can add a group underneath here. We can just call it DCs, domain controllers. Underneath the domain controller, we're gonna add a server, and we're gonna type in the IP address. Since this is not a machine that's joined to the domain, so IP address will be needed. So I'm gonna add a domain by that, and then I'm just gonna call it ITKY DC01. We're gonna hit add, and then I didn't specify credential yet, so let me go ahead and specify credential properties. So all IT server will have the same credential. So the credential is going to be domain /username. I'm gonna use a username by R9, and then you're gonna put in the password and then hit save. And we're gonna save this under global, boom. Now if I hit double click, it should work. So you can see it worked. It allowed me to connect to my domain controller one from there. That is the whole idea of doing this tool, so we can have your organization clear and concise. Now we have our domain controller connected to. You can see this is server manager is leading me to. But one thing we need to do is, before we get too comfortable, is we need to fix the resolution. We do this for the whole server group. We're gonna say under display setting, we're gonna have to do to display, reconnect with new resolution, and then we're gonna hit okay, because I want to see the start menu. I don't know if you can see that we don't see the start menu. So if I hit reconnect, it should allow us to see the start menu. It's really awful actually, because we can see the start menu, but there's some things missing. So let's come over here, right click again. We're gonna go to display setting one more time. And then we're gonna say fit to window, inherit to parent. Let's do this. If I hit refresh again, reconnect again, because my credential is already saved, it should be able to do that. So now it's there. I can see the start menu. It's a little bit better. Now I could make it even better where it will do something else, but I feel like right now it's good enough for us from this point on, we can actually go to Active Directory, and then we can start managing this domain controller like any time we want to without having to struggle. And you can see here, I have the one domain controller only, nothing else. I have a user over there I created, and that's pretty much it. So this is a nice handy tool, and I would recommend to everybody, if you don't use this tool and you're a server administrator or system administrator or infrastructure engineer or any even developer, if you're dealing with multiple machines, definitely use this. So if I want to add a secondary domain, I could do that simply. And in fact, I have a VMware I'm managing as well. Let me connect to the VMware and show you. So let's come over here under my VMware. It's just gonna be the IP address 10.1.0.7. That's my VMware. We're gonna leave YouTube for a second. We're gonna hit continue because I didn't secure the server. So on the VMware, I'm gonna connect. I need to change the username and password, but for now, we're using the default. So on here, you can see I have couple VM over here. I have DCO2. This DC specifically is for ITKY. So if I hit connect, starting or it's connecting, and then I have DCO1 too. So I didn't do that. I need to make sure that there's two of them we have. So let me exit this one, connect to this one. So I'm gonna focus on DCO1 for this one. So this one's gonna have a completely different IP, and it's definitely a different domain controller entirely. But we can manage it with a remote desktop connection manager. So it's super easy and very intuitive. And if you have Nutanix like I have here, or VMware or Hyper-V, I also have, this is a tool that you must have. If you're managing multiple servers, it just makes life easier. There's no reason why to not use it. So I'm gonna show you whenever this is applies and loads, so we can see it. It looks like both of them are not ready yet. I believe the server will shut down when I was at my conference/visit to Las Vegas. So let me see if we can get one of them to come up so we can connect to it. Because the only reason is that I'm doing this is because I don't remember the IP address. And this is the issue sometimes. And that's what makes this easier, if that you don't have to remember the machine name was or IP is. You can configure this. You can require a credential at a prompt every time if you want it to be secure. But I am confident in my situation that nobody's gonna get into our servers. So that's why I'm not making harder for myself. So, but if you are somebody who are like, I don't want the credential to be saved in case somebody get into my host VM where the remote desktop connection manager is running, then you could do that. So yeah, let's see how intuitive this tool is. Let me connect to both domains and then we can go ahead. One of the things that, we're gonna connect to, we have two DCs built here. So we can go ahead and, now if I go to ipconfig, cmd, ipconfig, you can see I have 240. That's the machine IP, and I believe this is 241. So 240 and 241 most likely needs to be added. We're gonna add it, and we're gonna try to manage without going to the VMware every time. So let's come back to our remote desktop connection manager under ITKY. We're gonna create another group, and we're gonna call it DKDCs. Boom. We're gonna create another server. We're gonna add 92.168.1.240, and then just call it ITKY DC001. I'm just gonna abbreviate it ITKY domain. Okay, that is the name we're gonna keep up with. And then I do the same thing. I do another domain, and then we're gonna save it. So 192.168.241, and then here DCO2. That's what we got. Boom. So now that we have this two, we're gonna right click one more, the ITKY. We're gonna just keep up with a different credential. So we're gonna come over here. I see this save globally. We don't want to inherit from parent. So we're going to come up with our own credential. Custom. It's going to be ITKY/R9. And we're going to put in our password. So we're going to just save in the servers. Boom. Okay, now let's see if I can connect to it. It's working. Boom. Yes. And then same thing here. It's working. Wow, awesome. So therefore, it's working now. We are able to connect to both domain controllers. They all have different properties, different OE, and we can connect to them just fine. that's the whole purpose of why we did this. And we're gonna add on to this more servers. So overall, I might have all my 30 servers over here, so I can manage them in one unified dashboard. And this overall is gonna make things a lot easier for us, and it's gonna be not much more intuitive. So let's open Active Directory console. Okay, this Active Directory computers, users and computers. You can see here, that's my second domain, ITKY domain. And I have 2 domain controllers and a couple users. That's it, not a whole lot going on here. And then my other domain, you can see over here, that is also working fine. itky.org, ITK. So those are 2 domain I own, and therefore that's what we got. So now if I actually reconnect here, let me make sure it works on the first one. Reconnect. Sometimes when you're saving credential, it does tend to trigger. It's working just fine. That's what we did. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you do have a lot of servers you have to manage, I do recommend that you use Remove Desktop Connection Manager. It's really nice, especially if you don't have like Arc or any nice modern based tool, and it will help you make your life easier as administrator. If you like this type of video, hit the like button, subscribe, and thank you for being a part of IT Skills family. Until next time, have a good rest of the day. Peace.